Anti-woke content creators have spread like a mind virus throughout YouTube, and it threatens to kill the host. Not me, your humble, lovable host, but the hosting platform YouTube. YouTube looks more and more like Rumble every day. It's affecting creativity because YouTube's algorithm rewards easy to create, anti-woke rage bait over content that honestly critiques stories, books, shows, and movies. Why don't the woke spotters, and thanks to YouTuber Pillar of Garbage for creating the term, create their own intellectual properties since they hate the woke culture so bad? Well, I'm happy to say there are woke spotters who do put their money where their mouths are. For instance, the Critical Drinker writes action thrillers under his real name, Will Jordan. His character, Ryan Drake, borrows heavily from Tom Clancy novels. Notice Ryan in the name. But being an anti-woke grifter, though, Jordan's videos rail against feminist themes, mentally tough women, and their physical abilities ad nauseum. Meanwhile, being a grifter, there has to be a certain level of hypocrisy. So Jordan's books prominently features a tough woman who routinely kicks men's asses. But I'll give it to Jordan. He saw something he didn't like in the story world, and he went out and wrote himself a book series. Another woke spotter is Eric July. For years, July complained and complained about Marvel and DC being too woke and full of agendas. Actress Brie Larson set up shop in a corner of July's brain for months. But I gotta tip my hat to July, aka Young Ripper. The dude went out and created a comic book universe. The stories may be a bit bland and the art pretty basic, but damn it, the Ripperverse is out there making some money. The Daily Wire is a horror show of right-wing propaganda and rage. For years, they would open up a TV guide, a Variety magazine, or Fandango or Rotten Tomatoes website, close their eyes, and randomly pick a target to shit on for the day. Whatever it was woke, and you needed to be angry about it. But conservatives have to watch something, don't they? So the Daily Wire created an entertainment division. Sadly, their stuff isn't any good. Even Daily Wire fans called their school shooter movie and the Western they produced woke because they both feature female protagonists. The comedy Lady Ballers was universally panned. Regardless, the Daily Wire created an entertainment division. And then there's Shad from the YouTube channel Shadiversity. Back in the day, I used to watch his content on the regular. I actually enjoyed how he explained medieval times, the clothing, the weaponry, the armor, the accessories. That shit was cool. But then he got sucked into the Friday Night Tights cabal, and down the anti-woke grift hole he went. But Chad wrote a fantasy book. Hell, I'm still writing mine. There were things he wanted to see in the fantasy space, so he went and wrote it and published the damn thing. Granted, the book has been trashed by other channels on YouTube, but at least he put his nose to the grindstone and did a thing. What are you chuds doing? No, really. What are you doing? Diversity and Dragons is an anti-woke rage bait YouTube channel for fans of Dungeons and Dragons and other role-playing games. In one video, the host implied that D&D is only played by white dudes. Funny, I'm not a white dude, and I've been playing D&D off and on since the age of 13. During that time, I played D&D and other RPGs with white dudes, black dudes, and women, both black and white. My most enthusiastic and capable game master was a black woman. Diversity and Dragons believes the reason D&D in general and Wizards of the Coast in particular have been infected by the woke mind virus is because there should have been better gatekeeping in who should be allowed to play. Gatekeeping? Really? Man, excuse my Japanese, but you can take your gatekeeping and fuck all the way off. These games, books, shows, and films are not yours. The individual campaigns might be yours, but the IP doesn't belong to you. They belong to the creators and companies that own them. If you have a problem with D&D, then make your own RPGs. Kickstarter is full of up-and-coming RPGs. Create one and throw it up there for the public to decide if it's anti-woke enough. Or how about making a homebrew of your D&D campaigns that leave out the woke shit? It's pretty easy to do. If it's so bad out here, then make your own RPGs. It's gotten so bad, there's a grifter ranting for vengeance who made a video where he reaches back into the annals of history to complain, rage, about the comic book that started wokeness in comics. How far back do you think this guy went? 5 years? 10 years? 15? Try the early 70s, y'all. The offending comic is Green Lantern, Green Arrow. The Dennis O'Neil, Neil Adams run in particular of issues 76 to 82. These issues dealt more with real-world social matters, though sometimes heavy-handed, than the supervillain of the month trope. This kid's video hated on that run. I mean, hated, which is ridiculous because that run is considered by most fans, critics, and comic creators to be absolutely based, complete fire, S-tier level. Critics call it character defining. So this rage bait grifter, who by the way used to do videos on his love of heavy metal music, basically said it sucked and was super woke. Remember when I said the stories were considered character defining? Well, this guy claims to be a fan of Hal Jordan's Lantern and Green Arrow. I don't believe that for a minute. What we know of these characters for the past 40 years started in this run. And if it wasn't for this influential run of stories, Green Lantern and Green Arrow would have been relegated to comic book limbo. Before O'Neil and Adams took over, the book was about to be canceled. That means no Longbow Hunters, no epic Jeff Johns run, which I know this dude is basing his so-called love on. So before spouting off unpopular nonsense, know your history first. Don't travel into the past to attach wokeness to something because you need clicks and content. Do like Eric July and make your own comics. Again, Kickstarter and BackerKit have shown that the gates to comic creation and opportunity are available to us all. But folks don't want to do these things. They want to complain rather than give an actual critique about a topic. Complaining is easier than solving a problem. Hating is easier than explaining what you like about something. Destroying is easier than creating. If there's something you want to see in the culture or in your fandom, then how about making what you want to see? That's what I did. I didn't see enough black representation in fantasy or sci-fi. I didn't complain. Okay, maybe I did a little to my friends. But I didn't make video after video targeting shows, movies, or books that had poor representation. Instead, I wrote my novella, The ANANDA Accords, shameless plug. It's a sci-fi thriller that features a black male protagonist who uses brains over brawn to solve deadly problems facing 3 races and the galaxy. I also wanted to see strong women of color having adventures in space. So I wrote a short story, ANANSI Moon, and that story was published in the fall issue of Fire magazine. Check them out. So let's be honest. Anti-woke YouTube is a grift, plain and simple. This is proven by the content creators themselves. They do nothing but rage bait for the algorithm. In all of their videos, they tell us what they don't like. Rarely do they tell us what games, books, shows, or movies they do like. And that's the point. They know the algorithm rewards rage bait. I've seen several YouTubers go the grifter route because right-wing, anti-woke rage bait has become the gold rush of the 21st century. But if the grift is your plan, then understand this. You can fool some of the people some of the time, but not all of the people all of the time. I believe Abraham Lincoln said that, maybe? Mark Twain? I don't know. People are beginning to wake up to the anti-woke grift. Even grifters are waking up. Ironic how I'm using a form of woke in its true form, not the form it's been corrupted with. YouTube grifter Geeks and Gamers recently exposed the cracks in the anti-woke armor when he told the rest of Friday Night Tights that he was tired of doing shows complaining about the same old things over and over. Unfortunately, he was shouted down by the rest of the Friday Night Tights crew, and they went on raging about nothing. Any con artist will tell you, no grift lasts forever. Eventually, the mark gets hip to the grift. In general, people get tired of the same old diet. You actually can make too many anti-Brie Larson videos. There's an Overton window for that. Who knew? Like other business models before it, woke spotting has become a bubble. And that bubble is about to burst. Look at Twitter/X. Elon Musk, in the interest of free speech, allowed the grifters and dirtbags to return. Now look at the platform. It's become a cesspool of hate, rage, and misinformation. Folks are leaving the platform in droves. Let me wrap this all up by saying we need less people creating empty-calorie, rage-bait trash content, and more folks shutting up and putting up by creating their own IP and fiction that runs the gamut of ideas and political leanings. No gatekeeper is allowed. Don't be a whiny gatekeeper, because those gates have been flung open and we all can walk right through.